Chapter 18, The Core. Doku's hate continues to slowly transform Ryu. Feeling the blood of the fiends pounding in his veins, Ryu stands before the gates to the source of all evil, the core of the Imperial Palace. And notice how it's in exclamation marks after that. And for our troubles, we actually do get another deity statue after we completed that battle against Doku, but it's over in that pedestal. And of course, there are going to be some flying fish that are going to give us trouble. But other than that, hey everybody, this is Double RPG, and welcome to another episode of Double RPG Let's Play with Ninja Gaiden Sigma on the PS3. In today's episode, we are going to be making our way to the Palace of Zarkhan, finally. And we are going to see how far along we get to the palace, so that way we can try to get the Dark Dragon Blade back from the evil Holy Vigor Emperor. Even though he's holy, he's evil by all means. But anyway, let's get on with the episode that's already in progress. And hey, would you look at that? Ryu Hayabusa is all blue. Is he the 5th or 6th member of the Blue Man group? No, I'm just kidding. He's Japanese, so we get the raptor, the deity of sentiment, for our troubles. But yeah, he's all blue, so But that's because the blue that's within his veins is the blood of the hatred of the fiends and such. So that is why he looks so down. No, he doesn't look down. It's just that Doku's curse has taken hold of him, and he is trying to get Ryu to transform into a fiend because of that hatred that he possessed throughout this whole time for, murdering his clan and all. Okay, here we are outside of the palace, and if you take a look at the palace grounds, it looks very, very dark, and the setting seems very, very, well, I guess you could say dark, because I mean, look at the landscape. I mean, it just looks so depressing, and it looks like something you would see for going into a final battle for some place in a video game of sorts. Makes sense. And, of course, there's going to be some purple fiends that are going to give us some trouble, as well as some of these big boys that are going to fight us. And notice that we're using the Devil Aura Blade against these guys, so very interesting. And we could not even get any Great Spirit Elixirs for our troubles. Well, Great Devil Elixirs for our troubles, but we don't even need any because we hardly use them anyway, so I hardly use the Ninpo in case if it's an emergency, so we will not be able to get into the palace right away because there is something outside of the palace gates that we do need to grab in order to get access into the palace, so that's why we are heading over to the gate to get on the other side. And then we will be able to embrace another beautiful cutscene, but it's not going to be an FMV like it will be once we get close to the battle against the Holy Vigor Emperor. And we're gonna be raped by these flying fish. No, we're not gonna be raped. we're gonna be harassed by these flying fish, which they already did, and we pretty much laid the smackdown on them. Okay, here we are on the outside of the gates, and as we take a look on the ground there is a fallen black spider ninja who is about to enter death.
Ryu Hayabusa. Over the corpses of my black spider clan brethren, I was able to make it this close to the core, but I cannot go on. Though it dishonors me. You must reclaim Vigor. The equilibrium is collapsing. Master, I have failed. Forgive me.
I guess for the reason the Black Spider Ninja Clan was in the Vigorian city of Tyron, or the land of Vigor, is because they tried to put a stop to Ryu Hayabusa. Like, the Hayabusa village and the Black Spider Ninja Clan, they are rivals, so it only makes sense that they be fighting each other, so they were trying to stop Ryu by all costs, but their purpose isn't better explained until Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword and Ninja Gaiden 2 or Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, whichever you play more. Now, the key that he gave us was the key of the Decayed Soul, and that key will give us access inside of the palace. So we should be able to make our way over there right this instant, so that way we can ascend up high and try to get the Dragon Sword back. The core of the Imperial Palace. Here we are, finally. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention this in the last episode, but if any of you have, if any of you actually look at the magazine Famitsu or somewhat, or if you take a look at some gaming news sites, kind of like Joystick or Kotaku or some of the others that, you know, report on some games that are, you know, in Japan that got the first screenshots in magazines like Famitsu and all that, they released the first screens of Ninja Gaiden 3, which is the third game in the second series after Ninja Gaiden 2 and Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, and I have to say, the screens actually look pretty promising. I mean, it's going to go back to the bloody nature of Ninja Gaiden 2 rather than Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, where the blood was toned down a lot to where, you know, if you decapitated an enemy, they would have this magic, you know, just spurting out of them that didn't even look like blood at all. Because if you played Ninja Gaiden 2 on the Xbox 360, it was a bloody mess. So that's where they saw Ryu Hayabusa really well with his character. You know, when you use him in the Ninja Gaiden games, he would always cause a bloody massacre when slicing and dicing his enemies. So they're going back in that direction, but I think things are going to be even more bloodier, because if you take a look at the screens that were in the magazine, you know, that the sites like Andrea Sang or whatever that's called, they showed that Ryu's right arm is going to be possessed, so I think it's possible that he's going to be possessed by a fiend, where his right arm is going to transform his personality a little bit to where Ryu's going to try to regain some of his human side back or whatever. I mean, it's kind of like the same thing with the curse with what Ryu has right now, but I think it's going to be taken into a different route. So it's hard to say at this moment, but from the screenshots, it actually looks pretty darn good from what I've seen. So it's definitely one that I would be interested in playing and owning whenever it comes out. So it probably won't come out until 2012. That's what they're speculating when the release date is going to be. But they said it was going to be on the Xbox 360 and the PS3. But something tells me that may not be the case, because I would like to see, since Nintendo's new console, the Project Cafe, says it wants to try to win back the core crowd, I would say that Ninja Gaiden 3 would actually be a really good launch title for that system if it were to release, you know, since the game is possibly going to be released in 2012, like they're stating. So that would actually really make a good launch title, not only for Nintendo but for Tecmo Koei as well. So it would make a lot of sense if they did it that way, so that Nintendo can get a good start with the third, you know, it would show how much good third-party support that Nintendo would already have right away. But even though most of their games are going to be ports of, like, the PS3 and the 360 games, I would still like to see what original, you know, exclusive content they would have for the Project Cafe. I mean, if it was only slated for Project Cafe, then that would actually be a good start for Nintendo with the third-party support and exclusive content. But we all know how much games tend to go multi-platform these days. But like I said, it'd be a good start for Nintendo to get some good recognition for their next console. But it's too early to say at this point. I guess we'll just have to wait and see if Ninja Gaiden 3 actually makes it to the Nintendo's new console. But we'll have to see if they do announce it at E3 2010 or 2011 next week. which I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be a madman and delivering my own thoughts and impressions on the event. So you will be expecting a lot of videos here and on Screw Attack as well. So since Ayane has usually been you know, present in most of the Ninja Gaiden games, and I know Kasumi made a cameo in Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 at the end of the chapter you play as Ayane when you're back in the city of Italy or whatever, because of the landscapes that kind of look like Venice, to where, you know, they have the gondolas on the water and the gondoliers, you know, transport you on those small little boats and that kind of stuff. I would definitely like to see, you know, characters like Kasumi or maybe Hayate or Ayane playable, but we all know that Ninja Gaiden, whenever it comes to Ninja Gaiden, it's usually Ryu Hayabusa who steals the show. But and I know Ayane is playable in Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, but it would be nice to, you know, maybe see another Mugen Tenshin Ninja be playable in the in a Ninja Gaiden game. So and it makes me wonder, you know, if with Ninja Gaiden 3, if Sonya is going to be making a comeback, because she is a CIA agent, and we all know that Irene Liu from the original Ninja Gaiden trilogy was also a CIA agent. So it's possible that Sonya may actually be the Irene of the second Ninja Gaiden series, but it's too hard to say at this moment. So, but yeah, I do suspect that she may be Irene, because she has shown some feelings for Ryu at the end of Ninja Gaiden 2 or Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, and so that may be something like her name may not actually be Sonya, and I think Team Ninja has left that sort of indication that the name, you know, Sonya, her name may not actually be Sonya per se. So, and if you play Ninja Gaiden, I mean not Ninja Gaiden, but DOA Dimensions or Dead or Alive Dimensions, Sonya actually does play a role in the game as being a help support to Ryu, and if you play the storyline of Chronicles or the Chronicles mode or whatever, they actually name her Irene, and it's just really strange, because you know, if they're trying to be more intact with the Dead or Alive universe, then they would have to stick with the name Sonya. But for the name Irene, that actually is good indication that Sonya may actually be Irene Liu in disguise or so. But and notice how these fish are still giving us trouble. So, and we all know that story is not really important when it comes to games like this or the Dead or Alive series, but everybody is just more interested in the action. And if you have not picked up Dead or Alive Dimensions yet, you need to go do it right now, because it's definitely a lot better than Super Street Fighter 4 3D, in my opinion. I think it's a fighter that was definitely needed to be, that is definitely, I don't know how to say it, but I think it's a fighter that's definitely, like, it's the perfect fit for a Nintendo 3DS game. So, like I said, you will get hours of content playing that game with all the different costumes and the statues and all that stuff. But yeah, definitely go pick it up right now. And as I stated before, it will definitely be a good game to play before Ocarina of Time 3D. And notice that I've been placing the deity statues on the pedestals right there. You need to do that in order to open up the doors to where you can ascend further up the Imperial Palace steps and whatever. And yes, I know, with us fighting against the fish and all that, they will they will be abusive in the next set of stairs that we take. But that was the last set of stairs that we had to take when going up. So here we are at the peak of the Imperial Palace to where we can reach up. So, and notice that there are some treasure chests with great spirit elixirs that we can grab, and there's another one. I don't think we got the other one yet, but we will be saving the other one until we get up further. But now, if we take this portal here, we are going to go back to the Fiend Realm, and fighting against these guys, it's going to lead us up to another individual. And you probably guessed it, it's going to be that guy who was, you know, moderating the battles in the Fiend Realm, you know, from before. That huge winged demon of sorts that kind of looked like a minotaur with wings or something like that. That character is actually named Marvis. He is the king of the Fiend Realm. And he is a boss in this game, and we will be fighting him in this section. But we have to go through three of these, you know, stage areas within, you know, the Fiend Realm in order to make it up closer to him. But he will be teleporting us further and further up close to where he is, and like he did right there. And look who we have to fight again. It's the third and final time we are going to have to fight a Hydrocubus. And this one should be about the same. I mean, it is the same. This character is the same that we've been fighting against throughout all this time, but he should be a bit harder to defeat. But I could be, well, harder to defeat because of his defenses and all. But I don't think that's going to be the case as, well, actually, I think it's going to be about the same as the second time we fought him, because his defenses are about the same as before. So, but yeah, in this battle, you want to attack the tentacles first, and then after you attack both the tentacles, you can attack the core, so that way you can land some damage on him, and you should be able to do yourself justice after you lay the smackdown on this guy. So. And after half of his health is depleted, he will start. The boss will start spewing acid at you. Yeah, that was the word I was looking for. Acid. But yeah, that is the. This is the third and last time we are going to be fighting against this boss, and we should be able to defeat it very shortly. And notice that with the ultimate technique. For the true dragon sword, it's a lot different than the one for, you know, the dragon sword in its original state. So this arm is giving us so much trouble. And there, we defeated it finally, so that way we can ascend up further. I don't think we get anything for our troubles in that battle, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it would have been nice to get maybe another great spirit elixir or something, but yes, that is Marvis right there. That is the king of the Fiend Realm. He's not literally the king of hell, because the king of hell is Satan, but for into this fictional universe, this is what some may consider the king of hell in the Dead or Alive universe, but we can survive the pits of hell if we play as Ryu Hayabusa, because, hey, he's a super ninja. I mean, he's a ninja, but his powers are more of that, like a superhero of sorts. I would definitely like to see some more comics made for Ninja Gaiden. I mean, I'd like to see it become, you know, maybe get a stab at, you know, some comic books, maybe for, like, Dark Horse, or maybe for Marvel Comics, or DC Comics, or whatever, because I think I think the Ninja Gaiden series for comic books would actually be really interesting. And notice that we're going to fight against this big beast again. Yes, this is the Yeti with 2 front arms but no hind legs. This is actually the boss name I've been able to figure out is called Jotunfrau. Oh, Jotunfrau. Or that is Yotanfrau. Jotunfrau. And he's basically the same as when fighting against him when we were in the ice caverns, so there's nothing new. to him in this boss fight, so... And notice that we're on Chapter 18. There's going to be a lot of bosses we're going to be fighting. And this is just the second sub-boss we're getting, that we're fighting against. And then we will be able to fight Marvis in the upcoming battle after this. Okay, we finally defeated Jotunfrau. And we should be able to make our way over back to the gates of the Fiend Realm to where we can fight against Marvis. Which we're going to do right now. And he's not going to take this abuse any longer for us, destroying his army. So he's going to try to put in his all against us. So, Marvis, he has 5 different attacks. He can summon monsters. He can punch on the ground. He can kamikaze rush you. He can hit you with an air swoop and summon dark fire. When he's about to strike the ground or do his kamikaze rush or the air swoop or whatever, where he tries to lunge at you in the ground, but when he hits down, he'll kind of stagger a little bit, and that will be your best chance to hit him with some melee attacks. So you want to keep that in mind when you're fighting against him, like what I just did right away. So just be careful, and like I said, use your best judgment in this boss fight, because he will summon some more of those brown lesser fiends at you, or the purple ones, whichever one they are, which doesn't really matter, but they will not be that very forgiving when you're fighting against him, so. And he did his grab attack on us. What an unforgiving SOB. No. What an unforgiving creep. And there he was using the dark fire that he summoned right there. But he's not going to last very long, because we are about to call this battle a close. And then after that, we should be able to wrap up this episode before the final 2 fights that are going to take place within this chapter, and then the final battle in the next. Okay, just about a few more slices, and then he should be long dead. And notice that using the flying swallow technique, it's not really that effective. So most of the time, you want to get up close and personal with these bosses by just attacking them head on. But just like that, and Marvis has been destroyed finally, and that will reward us with the 3rd deity statue. And this right here is Demon, the deity of destruction, and using that will try to ascend us further up the Imperial Palace. So let's go ahead and make our way back. But like I said, we're not going to do that right now, as we're already past the 20-minute limit. So let's go ahead and make our way back and try to heal ourselves a little bit. And then I think we are good enough to go ahead and close this episode for today. But I will be back later tonight or tomorrow morning with the second to last episode, and we'll be focusing on fighting the Holy Vigor Emperor in that episode, but we could get into the final battle as well. But I wouldn't go as far as that. But other than that, next time on Double RPG Let's Play with Ninja Gaiden Sigma on the PS3, we are going to be ascending up further from where we left off, and we will fight against the Holy Vigor Emperor, but we also may get into the last chapter as well, and conclude Ninja Gaiden Sigma in its entirety. But anyway, if you have not done so already, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter with the links in the description, and I will see you on the next episode. See you guys then.